to go in the legislative session. Democratic leaders are predicting passage of a sweeping health care bill that would create a so-called Connecticut option for health insurance that would guarantee a savings of at least 20% in premiums. How much would it cost? Senator Matt Ritter co-chairs the legislature's insurance committee.
When you look at reinsurance, when you look at wraparound subsidies, we're looking at about $100 million in total cost. But that is not for the operation of the program. That's to help people afford their health. The actual operation program is about $1 million.
The proposal would be paid for in part by a tax on opioid makers and a surcharge on insurance companies. It also seeks to lower prescription drug costs by importing cheaper meds from Canada. Minority Republicans say they were completely left out of the process and had to learn about the proposal from lobbyists. Insurance Committee Ranking Member Kevin Kelly.
I just believe the whole process to be deceitful. I think it's being done behind a lot of people's backs. We've had a full legislative session. This could have been brought up at any time. We could have had a public hearing. We could have had public debate. Chose not to.
With the promise of a gubernatorial veto, state House leaders are holding off on action regarding a paid family medical leave measure that came out of the Senate on Wednesday. Governor Ned Lamont said he had concerns with the level of bureaucracy surrounding the measure, which includes a proposed payroll tax to help fund the plan. House Majority Leader Matt Ritter.
The program is going to evolve, like all programs do. It's a very large new program, and so, it's going to take, my guess is you'll see changes next year and the year after. I think Senator Kushner said that. The question is, what do we have to do this year to make it law? And I think hopefully we can all get to that place. I don't think we're that far apart on these issues.
The Republican plan released on Wednesday would create a private market with participation up to the individual. A judge has dismissed all remaining claims in a lawsuit by a Native American tribe that alleged the state owed it more than $600 million for land seized from the tribe more than a century ago. Judge Thomas Macauser of Hartford ruled on Wednesday the Schaghticokes don't own the mortgages on the land and dismissed the case. The tribe sued back in 2016, saying the state seized 2,000 acres from a 24-acre reservation in western Connecticut between 1801 and 1918 without compensating the tribe. And the same judge in 2017 dismissed the tribe's claim that it owned the land but let the mortgage issue proceed. President Trump says he was calm during his brief meeting yesterday with Democrats, contradicting reports he lambasted them before holding his own gathering in the White House garden. Today, House Speaker Pelosi said the White House is begging for impeachment. However, she says she's not ready to visit that just yet.
You want to follow the facts to get the truth to the American people, with a recognition, too, that no one is above the law, and 3, that the president is engaged in a cover-up.
Trump says he won't work with Congress until the investigations into his administration are scrapped. Damage from those tornadoes that ravaged a portion of Missouri last night was confined to a 3-square-mile radius. The capital city in Missouri didn't report any deaths, although 3 people were killed near Golden City in the southwest part of the state. Utility spokesman Michael Mann.
We'll be working around the clock. We have stabilized and made safe, all the gas situations. I can't tell you exactly how many places that we've cut gas off, but it's a number of houses just to make safe.
And he said the heavy weather, that is expected to impact portions of Pennsylvania and New York State later this afternoon into the evening. WTIC News Time is 1:04. And from the WTIC 24-hour traffic network, volume delays eastbound 84 in the Hartford area between exits 46 and 51. Delays northbound 91 as you head into the city from 28 to 29. There's plenty of road work, probably going to get it in because there won't be much to do with the holiday weekend nearly upon us. Road work 91 North Windsor between 35 and 36. Also in West Hartford, westbound 84 between 40 and 39A. That is a right lane project. Here is meteorologist Bob Cox with the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
During the afternoon, clouds and some breaks of sun, a southerly breeze increasing to 12 to 25 miles per hour with some higher gusts. And there will be a few showers and thunderstorms around by the late afternoon or evening, the high near 70. The threat for a shower or passing thunderstorm continues into tonight. Otherwise, we'll see varying amounts of cloudiness and lows in the 50s. A windy day coming up Friday with partly sunny sky conditions, high 70 to 75, winds probably gusting over 40 miles an hour at times. Mainly clear Friday night, low near 50. Morning sun Saturday, increasing afternoon clouds, highs in the 70s. Some showers roll through Saturday night. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
We have a mix of clouds and sun out there now. 67 degrees in Hartford. Wall Street market's down today. Dow down 419 points. NASDAQ is down 150. And the S&P 500 down 46. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Music lovers, thrill seekers, conversationalists all across the bountiful fruited plain. Back at it, Rush Limbaugh here behind the golden EIB microphone at the distinguished and prestigious Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Studies of Everything That Matters. 800-282-2882. If you want to be on the program, the email address lrushbaugh@eibnet.us. Now this is a Scott Rasmussen poll, and I don't know. Well, I know that the Democrats and the media will attach absolutely no validity to either the Rasmussen Reports poll, which is what Scott Rasmussen started. He's no longer with it. I don't know what happened there, but he's now out doing his own Scott Rasmussen. There's two Rasmussens. There's Scott Rasmussen and the Rasmussen Reports, which was his originally. This is a Scott Rasmussen report. 64% think, American people, think the FBI knew the dossier was unreliable when they applied for a search warrant against the Trump campaign. Okay, fine. That's a pretty decent number. I mean, given that the drive-by media has yet to report any of that. I mean, really, the drive-by media is not talking about that aspect of the dossier. The drive-by media is not telling anybody that the FBI knew the dossier was unverified and uncorroborated. Okay, so if that's the case, then how do you get to the next number that's of note here? Only 34% of voters know that the dossier was paid for by Hillary Clinton's campaign. Those two numbers seem strange. The 34% ought to be higher. If 64% think the FBI knew that the dossier was a pile of crap when they were seeking spy warrants, then how do only 34% know why it's a pile of crap? It's really puzzling. But the point is, I think the Democrats rely on their own internal polling, and I think the Democrats' internal polling is also showing things similar to this. And I think it's another reason why they are so rattled. Now, I realize I'm being redundant about this, and I apologize. The only reason I'm being redundant is because I'm really trying to impress upon you just what a gigantic shock and disappointment and outrage this is to them, and how they cannot adapt. They cannot get over it. They can't let it go. They can't adjust to it. They've got to make it work somehow. And I think the fact this just, in every direction of this story they look, they see gigantic failure, and they're not used to failing in smear campaigns and campaigns to destroy political opponents. The Democrats and the media working together have an amazing success rate. The fact that they haven't even laid a dent on Donald Trump is just driving them crazy. And then when they see polling data like this, what they are seeing is a gigantic media fail. It's got to be driving them nuts here, and I think it's part and parcel of why we are seeing what we're seeing. Donald Trump covering up. Let's go to audio soundbite number 10. This is the president still in the Rose Garden yesterday. This is after he walked out of the meeting with Schumer and Pelosi. after telling them that it's going to be legislation or nothing. I'm not going to sit here and continue to be investigating and work with you on legislation. And that's a totally sensible point of view. If they are investigating things that he's already been cleared of, and they're doing it over and over and over again, and essentially trying to destroy him, then what in the world is there to talk about regarding infrastructure or anything else legislatively where they have no desire for him to succeed at all? So what is the point? And here's the president basically addressing that.
I respect the courts, I respect Congress, I respect right here where we're standing, but what they've done is abuse. This is investigation number 4 and the same thing, probably 5. And it really started, I think, pretty much from the time we came down the escalator in Trump Tower. So I say to you that we're going to get everything done. We're doing a lot without them. Let them play their games. We're going to go down one track at a time. Let them finish up, and we'll be all set.
Does he sound angry? Does he sound out of sorts? Does he sound like he's on the verge of exploding? Does it sound like somebody needs to intervene there? Does it sound like he's on the edge of the cliff waiting to jump? Does it sound like he's at all out of sorts? No way. By the way, the day he does get angry, I want to be there and see it. Because it's going to be a show. Whenever that day does happen, and it's got to happen at some point. You just can't keep enduring this. Okay, so 64% of the American people know or think the FBI knew the dossier was a bunch of crap when they applied for a search warrant against the Trump campaign. Only 34% of those people know that Hillary Clinton paid for it. Now, here's the next little bit of news that we have learned. It is from the Washington Times. Special Counsel Robert, and by the way, for those of you, and I'm using my empathy here, I know some of you are probably, Rush, could you get off of this? It's over with. It's done with. No, it's not. That's the point, folks. This is what's driving everything. The Mueller report and nothing in it. 2.5 years of getting Trump and a failure. This is what is driving everything. I would love to be able to move on from this stuff, but they won't. And until they do, I'm not going to stop talking about it. These people are not going to get away with mischaracterizing this over and over again. Special Counsel Robert Mueller relied on the media to feed his Russian election interference report, citing scores of stories in the media that promoted the Trump-Russia collusion conspiracy. In other words, the FBI did this too. Let me walk you through this. Again, because this still remains as outrageous as it ever was. The first day I learned about this, I still am hell-bent that somebody or a bunch of people be held accountable and pay the price for this, because this is as un-American and unconstitutional as it gets. Okay, so you have the FBI, Strzok, Stroke, Smirk, and Lisa Page. You've got McCabe, you got Comey, you got this whole cabal. They hate Trump, they love Hillary. They want Trump gone. Trump wins the election, they're beside themselves. They can't stand it. So they begin the effort here to largely drive down his public approval numbers, which is the key to being able to impeach him. So the FBI calls, let's go back to the campaign. They want to spy on the Trump campaign, not because there's Russians involved, but because they want to try to create collusion with Russia. Do not mistake me. The FBI, these people in it, wanted to create the collusion. They tried to get a couple informants hired. They didn't succeed in doing that. So they want to spy on the Trump campaign. They use Carter Page. The FBI creates some phony news, some phony information, and leaks it to the New York Times, the Washington Post. The New York Times and Washington Post then print what the FBI has leaked to them anonymously. Then the FBI takes what they told the Washington Post and the New York Times, and they put it in the application to get a warrant to spy, and they take it to the FISA court. And they, in addition to the dossier, they say, look, Judge, even the New York Times and the Washington Post are suggesting there might be Trump-Russia collusion. Well, what they didn't tell the FISA judge is that the only reason the New York Times, Washington Post had it is because the FBI told them. The FBI told the New York Times and the Washington Post about these supposed links of collusion. They publish the stories. The FBI then takes those, adds them to their list of evidence to get a warrant. That's what Mueller did. Mueller, in this report of his, cites hundreds of newspaper stories as evidence or as things that he followed up. Well, these newspaper stories would not have been published had Mueller associates in the FBI, the DOJ, leaked the information to them. Special counsel Robert Mueller relied on the media to feed his Russian election interference report. In other words, Mueller's staff of Democrat-aligned prosecutors favored the New York Times over other publications. The Mueller report cites
and I want to make sure the
more than
specs on
60
this
New
meet
York
or
Times
exceed
stories as
specs of the
evidence of
original
Trump-Russia
transistor.
collusion. Well, not as evidence because there wasn't, as
So
a
what we need to
reason
do
they
is
were
look this
following it up. In other
And,
words, Mueller's report
it
tries to
is
say
a
that the investigation was legitimate
46
because it also showed up in the media. In addition to what we and our own team are doing, look what the New York Times and Washington Post
Let's
found.
see what
Well,
we
they
can
didn't
find
know
out.
anything until the FBI leaked it to them. The report refers to the Washington Post 40 times. CNN has about a dozen citations. NBC News gets mentioned 10 times. And its anchor, Lester Holt, is the lone journalist to appear in the report's personalities glossary. And that's from his May 2017 interview with Trump. This is just further
285.
ammo, information. They didn't have anything. The media had nothing without the leaks from investigators. Those leaks get published. The investigators turn around and use those published stories as backup for their own efforts. The same thing they did to try to get a FISA warrant. Folks, this is a bigger scam than anybody has yet been able to get their eyes around, arms around. Trey Gowdy, grab audio sound bites 19 to 20. Trey Gowdy was on Sunday Morning Futures with Maria Bartiromo.
I want
on
to see
Fox.
the specs on the original SK.
She said, talk about the FBI's conversations with George Papadopoulos, because when the FBI agent sends in informants to someone they're looking at, typically those conversations are recorded, right? These people are wired up. He's talking about, or she's asking about, Stephen Halper and Joseph Mifsud are the two people, the informants, that fed Papadopoulos the story that the Russians had dirt on Hillary Clinton. Here is what Trey Gowdy's answer is.
If the Bureau is going to send an informant in, the informant's going to be wired, and if the Bureau is monitoring telephone calls, there's going to be a transcript of that.
Hi, it's Flo. And you know what word I don't get? Shampoo. The first half of the word is sham, and the second part you definitely don't want to see in the shower. That's why I made up a neat word, Flotection. The feeling of security you get when your new house is protected by home insurance through me and Progressive. I mean, seriously, shampoo? What part of that makes you want to rub it all over your hair?
Save an average of 17% on car insurance when you bundle home and auto through Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Okay.
Hi, this is Joel Johnson with the program Money Wisdom. Financial planning does not have to be complicated. It does not have to be overwhelming. Most of our clients, they like the fact that we keep it simple. If you want to know more about that, tune in Saturday mornings, 8:30, right here on WTIC News Talk 1080. That's Joel Johnson's Money Wisdom.
Life may throw you curveballs, but at St. Francis Hospital and Medical Center, we have what it takes to keep you in the game. If an injury is slowing you down, we're ready to help. We provide expert orthopedic and rehab care with specially trained teams from our Sports Medicine Institute, the Connecticut Joint Replacement Institute, the Spine Institute of Connecticut, and Mount Sinai Rehabilitation Hospital. From diagnosis to leading-edge treatments to rehabilitation, our multidisciplinary team at St. Francis can provide the care you need to stay in the game.
There it is right here in front of me.
In other words, all these conversations with Papadopoulos were taped. They were wired. And the conversations reveal what happened, and they have not been released. The transcripts, he's saying he's seen them, and they are game-changing. Gowdy wasn't finished. This is the rest of his comment.
We can call it a dossier. It sounds official. It's really something the National Enquirer would blush if they print it. So we know that it was used 4 times by the United States government. What we're trying to figure out is whether or not it was used a 5th time in the intelligence assessment. And you got Brennan, Clapper, and Comey, all 3 who know full well whether or not it was used in the intelligence assessment, but they're giving you different versions. It's pretty bad if it was just 4 times. It's really bad if it was 5.
Okay, now what is this 5th time? This intelligence assessment? Well, I think that's when Comey goes to Trump Tower and tells Trump about the golden shower story.
The other one is
Trump supposedly hired prostitutes to urinate on a bed in Moscow because Obama had slept on it.
Develop excessive heat,
5
they go into a
times,
condition
minimum
called
4
thermal
times.
runaway,
But
and they self-destruct.
The really fascinating thing about this to me is that Gowdy is alluding to transcripts of phone calls that he's seen between these informants and Papadopoulos, and that they are exculpatory.
Whoever was in here before
Exculpatory of Papadopoulos, exculpatory of the Trump campaign, and they have not been released. They have been withheld. Now,
because we have
since this wasn't a criminal investigation and there wasn't a perp designated, it was counter intel, which does not seek evidence of crimes. It's seeking intelligence that then gets analyzed by intelligence analysts and experts. 2 vastly different things. And so the Brady rule may technically not really apply here, but it still does in the terms of decency, law and order, and the Constitution. If you had a bunch of people who knew in the course of this investigation that, say, a Papadopoulos or somebody else did not do it, and they still haven't released that, it still hasn't been made public,
to heat sinks,
that's a huge problem, and it's game-changing, and Gowdy means when the public finds out about it. And this is all part of this trove of documents that Trump has not yet declassified, that we continue to be told he's going to declassify. We've been told this for 2 years, and it hasn't happened. We continue to wait with bated breath.
Push back against the left with a membership to Rush 24/7. Get Rush's radio show live or on demand. Plus, exciting extras like exclusive Ditto Cam video and 4 extra weeks free. Only at RushLimbaugh.com. You're listening to the EIB Network.
Did you know you can sell your life insurance policy, even a term policy, for an immediate cash payment? Call Coventry Direct at 1-800-458-2100 or visit CoventryDirect.com to learn more.
We thought we had planned carefully for our retirement.
But we quickly realized we needed a way to supplement our income.
Our friends sold their policy to help pay their medical bills. And that got me thinking, maybe selling our policy could help with our retirement.
So I did some research and called Coventry Direct.
We learned we could sell all of our policy or keep part of it with no future payments. Who knew? We sold our policy. Now we can relax and enjoy our retirement as we had planned.
If you have $100,000 or more of life insurance, you may qualify to sell your policy. Call Coventry Direct at 1-800-458-2100 or visit CoventryDirect.com. That's CoventryDirect.com. 1-800-458-2100. Coventry Direct, redefining insurance. Coventry Direct is a marketing company and will refer qualified policies to a licensed entity.
Don't let your perceived ethnicity box you in. Experience a new satisfying social construct with world-famous identity coach, Rachel Dolezal.
got no rhythm, can't dance, or just want some affirmative action going on to help you get and keep a job?
Okay,
Me,
we have
my
refilled
tanning bed, and an
the
awesome home perm will help you self-identify your
cleaner
way to success.
container. Cleaner happens
This former Spokane chapter
Anhydrous
president of the
Pure
National Association for the
Isopropyl
Advancement of Confused People will help you carry forward on your life continuum and make that happen.
I can do Puerto
Both
Rican,
surfaces.
Native American, Mexican, but I don't do Asian.
Get down with the struggle on a new, real, connected level of personal empowerment and self-identification with Rachel Dolezal, live at the Bombay Inn Executive Meeting Room every Thursday night at 8.
It's like that old-fashioned
Now that you know about the costly environmental impact of hybrid vehicles, are you ready for an environmentally friendly car that will always make you feel good about yourself?
Yeah!
Then check out the all-new Virtual 6000, the world's first carbon-neutral car. From the interior to the exterior, you'll agree it's a one-of-a-kind car that stands out from all the rest. And since the Virtual 6000 is made from sturdy, recycled cardboard, the options are unlimited. Need a sunroof? Just cut one out.
Well, what about safety?
Don't worry. The Virtual 6000 just sits in the living room, so you can pretend to go anywhere, anytime, and feel safe from the threat of SUVs. The Virtual 6000 uses no gas, no batteries. It's totally carbon neutral, and at only $20,500, it costs less than any hybrid around. The Virtual 6000 from Pretend Motors. Economical and environmentally safe.
Get out of my way!
Now let's continue. We've got, oh, there's another one over here. I'm going to get to that transition. It's also bone dry.
So great to be back with you folks. Rush Limbaugh back at it. The EIB Network and the Limbaugh Institute. Here is Will in Alexandria, Virginia. Great to have you, Will. Hi.
Hey, Rush. Good to talk with you.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, I started listening in 2016 because of the presidential race, so it's been very, very interesting since that time.
What were you doing before 2000? How could you have missed this program all the way up to 2016?
See if we get in there with a toothpick. It's kind of tight.
Well, I didn't miss you. I knew about you, but candidly, I had a job that just kept me from, participating during the day.
I see.
So, and then I came back I didn't come back as such. I came to it because I was just intrigued this atypical Republican candidate, and I was intrigued about how you would deal with him, where you'd put him. So, and I'm hooked.
Well, I appreciate it.
So here's my question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's my question. Is Robert Mueller reputable or not? And the reason I ask this is this guy produced a report of 400 pages of basically gossip, has muddled and muddied everything up, particularly for Democrats. And why didn't he, I think only you can answer this, but why didn't he just put out a one-pager, two-pager and said, yes, this guy obstructed and colluded? That's the end of it. Everybody would have been foaming at the mouth and just gone ballistic on the crazy left side, and that would have been the end of it.
Now, that is a
different place.
That is a fascinating question. Now, many people, I'm sure, thought you were going to say, why didn't he put out one or two pages and say, no collusion, no obstruction, and be done with it, because the report does not have any of that in it. But your question is one of the best questions. I have been asking myself this question. All Mueller would have had to have done was draw one conclusion, saying that he thinks there was collusion, and it would have been over.
Require heat sink refrigerant.
Why didn't he?
Some capacitors.
I have, believe me, there are a lot of people asking that question, Will.
We put it back together.
And I don't mean just Democrats.
So, 50 to 100.
I mean, you've got 448 pages there. You've got 15 to 16 Trump-hating investigators. How hard would it have been? We've already established that integrity and honor are not big factors in this investigation. So why not just put in one little, maybe two assumptions of conclusion. Why didn't Mueller do that?
WTIC News Update.
1:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. We'll have mix of clouds and sun. There's a chance of a late shower or a thunderstorm as we head into the late afternoon and evening. We'll have the forecast details coming up from meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center. New Haven's police chief says they haven't found any evidence yet to suggest a fire at a city mosque this month was terrorism or a hate crime. Chief Otanil Reyes says the investigation is continuing and they're not ruling anything out. May 12 blaze did severe damage to the Diyanet Mosque on Middletown Avenue, and they say was intentionally set.
You don't go below.
Family medical leave bill cleared the state Senate Wednesday night despite the veto threat from Governor Lamont. Senate advancing that bill to the House by a 21-15 vote. The governor, though, says the bill is too top-heavy with bureaucracy. And House Speaker Joe Arasimowicz today says he's not sure what he's going to do. May have to go back and talk to his caucus before they decide to run the bill. Benefits would be funded through a 0.5% payroll tax on most workers. Eligible individuals would receive partial wage coverage while they take up to 12 weeks off from work to care for themselves or a loved one. House Speaker Pelosi is suggesting an intervention with President Trump after he vowed not to work with Congress unless Democrats stop investigating him. In the aftermath of the Russia report, Pelosi described a pattern of stunts by Trump to change the subject from unflattering news about him. On Wednesday, Trump stalked out of a meeting with Democrats that had been set up to talk about how to pay for a $2 trillion infrastructure package. Secretary of State Pompeo says the president is evaluating the force posture in the Middle East every day. Pompeo on Fox today saying the U.S. is evaluating the risks, making sure what they have is right. Amid the tensions with Iran, the president is expected to receive plans from the Pentagon for as many as 10,000 additional troops in the region, plus more Patriot missile batteries and ships along the increased monitoring efforts. WTIC News Time is 1:32. From the WTIC 24-hour traffic network, volume delay.
Your cell phone's connected to your tablet's connected to your laptop's connected to your Wi-Fi. 1 weak link and thieves are in.
The digital world is so connected these days, it just takes 1 weak link for criminals to get in. Good thing LifeLock Identity Theft Protection includes the power of Norton Security to watch out for threats in today's connected world.
Your desktop's connected to your smart TV. Your smart TV's connected to your smartwatch.
Threats to your identity, like your info for sale on the dark web, and online threats to your devices, like ransomware. No one can prevent all identity theft or cybercrime or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock with Norton detects a wide range of threats to your identity and devices. And if there's a problem, our agents will work to fix it.
Your smartwatch is connected to your video doorbell. Your video doorbell's connected to your smart lock.
Join now and get 10% off your first year. Just go to lifelock.com/radio. That's lifelock.com/radio to save an extra 10% off your first year. LifeLock with Norton.
I needed new blinds. I knew I could save a ton of money if I put them in myself, but I was nervous about measuring right and then installing them. That's why I went to Blinds.com. I'd heard their ads on the radio, how they're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings, but I still had to install them. So I called in my design consultant, Carla. She talked me through it all, from picking the right blinds to installing them. Plus, the online design consultation was free. Samples were free. Shipping was free. My home looks perfect.
It's the Memorial Day mega sale with over 15 million windows covered and more than 30,000 five-star customer reviews. Blinds.com is America's #1 choice. Every order gets free samples, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Go to Blinds.com now to transform your home at the lowest prices of the year. Save up to 50% site-wide. Plus, listeners save an extra $20 with promo code USA. Blinds.com, promo code USA. Rules and restrictions apply.
The views expressed by the host on this program documented to be almost always right 99.8% of the time, as we meet and surpass all audience expectations every day. By the way, the intelligence assessment that Gowdy was referring to, the potential fifth time, that's the piece of garbage that Clapper wrote and had a handful of his stooges from the FBI, CIA swear was accurate. This is the assessment that the Democrats and the news media claim showed that 17 intelligence agencies agreed that the Russians colluded with Trump and meddled in the election. This was something that happened, I think, in late 2016. It was after the election. I'm pretty sure, and it was part of the onslaught of leaks that were appearing daily in New York Times and Washington Post. And it was an Obama administration effort. I know Obama was still in office when this happened. Remember this? It's kind of like there's this letter out there now with something like 800 former federal prosecutors, some of them probably from the grave, agree that President Donald Trump has obstructed justice. And 800 former federal Democrats, prosecutors. Well, Clapper got 17 intelligence agency people.
Okay, that's two.
To sign some document that they agreed
looks like 6.3
that the Russians and Trump had colluded. And that's the fifth, and that used the dossier. Clapper used the dossier, showing it around. And I remember when that happened, there was a significant degree of anger that the American intelligence community would share intel with other nations. Intel that they had not gathered. We are sharing this in order to ask them to participate in analysis and asking their conclusion. And it was
really quiet. I like it. Nobody coming in the door.
A phony political effort to try to persuade public opinion again. Well, 17 independent intelligence agencies from around the world have now seen the dossier and agreed that the Trump administration and the Trump campaign colluded with Russia, blah, 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 blah. That would be the fifth usage of the dossier. The other four usages of the dossier were for the FISA warrant application, and it's 3 renewals. Charles in Detroit, Michigan, you're next as we stick with the phones. It's great to have you, sir. Hi.
Hi. Thank you, Professor Limbaugh, for my twice 26-year education, which for me began in 1993. I, too, have a job. I during rest 24/7 because my kids could afford to skip a meal, but I taught them to refuse to live a day without freedom. But today you prompted me to call when you said we're dealing with the consequences of the Democrats taking back the House. Everyone seems to forget that a year ago, Mueller made it clear that he would wrap up by August or September at the latest so as not to affect the midterms. Instead, the media say at the top of their lungs in unison that Trump colluded and obstructed right up to Election Day, November 6th. Because Mueller's investigation ran through the election to keep doubt planted in those voters unsure who may have thought oversight might not be a bad idea. That means Pelosi's illegitimate and should be removed by Bill Barr for preventing the president to execute the laws that keep us safe. Because the media colluded with special counsel to sway the House back to the Democrats, and Trey Gowdy never lost.
Well, okay, let me step in here because this I have another way of going at this. What if I understand correctly? And I had to read that call just so I understood maybe every other fourth word that he said. So I'm reading it here, but I've got a general idea that he's talking about Mueller and his intent. If Mueller had released this report before the election last November, when he clearly could have, that maybe the outcome would have been different. So he's asking or stating an opinion on Mueller integrity and so forth. And so when look, Mueller knew the day he took the job that there was no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. And even if you don't agree with that, and don't doubt me on that, but certainly this has now been confirmed, the last year and a half of the Mueller investigation. You can see this by reading the report. The last year and a half, he knew there was no collusion and sat on it.
And
didn't report
we
it.
have
Kept the country roiled. Kept the Democrats
10
expecting
mics at 25
that
volts.
he was going to return with a report
mics
that
at
said there was collusion. That's what they were
25
expecting. That's what they knew was going to happen.
10
That's what they
mics,
were hoping would
25
happen.
volts.
But Mueller knew. At minimum, a year and a half before he released it, there wasn't any collusion. I maintain he knew it the day he took the job.
Put in 10 mics at 50 volts.
When Comey gives him the file, it's empty. The only thing in it is the dossier. Folks, they never had anything but the dossier. And the dossier, every word of it is fake. They never had it. That's what makes this so outrageous. What Mueller did was not investigate. There could not have been an investigation. There wasn't any evidence. Something else happened. So if you talk about Mueller's integrity, he's presented to us at the time he is chosen as special counsel as Mr. Integrity. Nobody more honorable in all of Washington than Robert Mueller III. Blah, blah, blah. And then they cite his resume. He's a former FBI director. He's a former CIA director. He's a former janitor in the White House. He's a former custodian. He's done everything. Robert Mueller III. They set it up so that whatever he comes back with cannot be questioned because he is Mr. Honorable and he is Mr. Integrity. Now, I, in my outside of Washington naivete, because I'm not an inside Washington player, person, or any of that. I'm not a member of any establishment. I'm not a member of any elite organization at all. I look at this and I say to myself, well, how honorable and filled with integrity could anybody be if they knew from the day they took the job there was no evidence and didn't report it? And then spent 2 years. Where's the integrity here? Where's the honor? What was this really all about? Then you have to start concluding, well, there had to be something else going on here because there wasn't any evidence of collusion. So here come the midterms, and Mueller knew at the time the midterms that there had not been any collusion, but the American public has not been told this yet. And the Democrats are running for office, as they do, as any out-of-power party does, on how the president screwed up, the president colluded, he was illegitimate, the president shouldn't be president, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of Republicans resigned. We would not have lost the House. Despite Mueller, we would not have lost the House if all those Republicans hadn't resigned. And you know why they resigned? Well, we were told because they're losing their committee chairmanships, and once you're a chairman and your term limited out of the chairmanship, you don't want to go back to just being a regular day in and day out member. The return incumbency rate for members of the House is 95%. 95% of incumbents win. And we had 30 or more Republicans retire. Now, some of them retired because they hate Trump, and they didn't want to be there when Trump was president, and many of those thought that Trump was going to get convicted of something and sent packing. They wanted to get out of town before it all happened. There's still some Republicans, as you well know, who think that Trump is a rotten guy and deserves to be impeached. Mitt Romney among them in the Senate. But if those resignations hadn't happened, we might not have lost the House. Now, as to Mueller's role in this, Mueller was under no obligation to report this before the elections. We were told he will not. Robert Mueller does not want to impact the election. Robert Mueller, Mr. Integrity, Mr. Honorable, does not want to have any impact on the election. Whatever, he will withhold his findings. Blah, blah. Well, by already knowing there was no collusion and withholding that had to have an impact on the election. But this takes me back to the previous caller, because it is a dilemma.
We're now going
Some might say a
to
dichotomy.
give it a visual inspection under magnification.
Mueller
That's what this
held on to
is.
this for a minimum year and a half, knowing there was no collusion, didn't report it. During that year and a half, this country is roiled like crazy. This country is in the throes of controversy. Political divisions are ratcheting up. Tensions are high, maybe higher than they've ever been since the Civil War. And there's one guy who could have ended it all, and he didn't.
These connections heat up and cool down.
Then he issues the report,
slightly. When they cool down,
and as our previous caller said, this guy has really done the Democrats so much damage. His first question to me was, how honorable is this guy? Or how reliable is he? Because what he has done has really screwed up the Democrats. And in a sense, he did.
This is not
because the Democrats were allowed to think for 2 years that Mueller had the goods.
This is a direct.
I mean, it was all stacked. 15 anti-Trump investigators, many of them Hillary donors. The New York Times, the Bible, the Washington Post, the New Testament. They're all out there every day, convinced that Trump did it, telling everybody that reads them, Trump did it. It's only a matter of time. CNN, MSNBC. By the way, speak of MSNBC, Rachel Maddow's numbers are in the tank. They have dropped, I'll give the numbers here, I've got to take a break here, but CNN's audience, I didn't know they had any more to lose, but their audience is way down. When this whole collusion story died, of course, the primetime audience at MSNBC is now down 50% and falling. CNN ditto. That means the only reason those people were watching, they weren't watching for the personalities. They weren't watching because of loyalty to any host. They were watching to get their daily dose of confirmation that Trump was history. They were watching every night to be reassured that Trump did it, and he was going to get caught, and he was going to get impeached, he was going to go to jail, he was going to be frog-marched out of there. They watched every night to be reassured every night that was going to happen. Then Mueller releases his report. There's no more reason to tune in MSNBC to be reassured that Trump's going to jail because Trump isn't going to jail. So there's no other reason to watch. The same thing has happened to CNN. On the Democrat Party side, everything they had planned has been blown to smithereens because Robert Mueller found no collusion. So now they're harping on obstruction, and they can't find any obstruction. So now they're saying that Trump covered up. What did he cover up? There isn't any crime of collusion. There's no crime of obstruction. What did he cover up? Their worlds have been turned upside down, and Mueller did this. And everybody thought that Mueller was on their side because of all of his investigators. And now back to that really intriguing question.
It's easy to see the big ones, but
why didn't Mueller,
no chances here,
in 2 of those 448 pages, acknowledge that there could have been collusion between Trump and Russia? Now, before you start shouting, well, Rush, there wasn't. He wasn't going to lie. Don't give me that. All of this has been a lie. Every bit of this has been a lie. Everything in the dossier is a lie. Everything descends from the dossier. Everything in this is a lie. So why stop lying when the report comes out? I'll guarantee you, there are people reading that report. It's in 2 sections. The first section's collusion. The second section is obstruction. You read the first section, some people are convinced that it explains collusion, that it clearly indicates it happened. But then there's Mueller in his report saying, nope, didn't happen. Yet there's the Papadopoulos story, and all these other stories are in there. If Mueller had, just in 1 or 2 instances, claimed that there had been collusion, do you realize what this country would have been since that day? You realize how close this is? So our callers, why didn't he do it? Is he reliable? Because what he's done here, forget what it's done to the country, which is you can't. But what he's done to the Democrat Party is astounding in terms of screwing them up. It may not look like it to you because the media covers for them. I got to take a break here. I'm way long, but we will continue this, so hang on.
Center of the radio universe. Rush on the EIB network.
I wish this double chin would just go away. Your wish is our command with Genucel's outrageous extended Mother's Day sale. Double chins, sagging jawlines, and turkey necks are real problems until now. Introducing the new Genucel jawline treatment formulated with MDL technology. Robin S. from Lubbock, Texas wrote, I put that jawline cream on my neck like 2 or 3 days ago. That's the best my neck has looked in over 20 years. Several people told me my face looks young. I am blown away. Sure, you could try expensive or harsh treatments to look younger, but why would you do that? For this week only, get the Genucel jawline treatment absolutely free when you order the classic Genucel for eye bags and puffiness, and with its instant effects, see results in the first 12 hours guaranteed or your money back. Go to Genucel.com, that's Genucel.com, or call 800-822-5941. And for a limited time, Chamonix will include a second surprise luxury gift free. Call 800-822-5941 or visit Genucel.com, that's Genucel.com.
When was the last time you watched your home movies? If you're like most, there's a box in your closet of videotapes, film reels, and photos that don't get watched. Worse, they're degrading. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. 10 years ago, we started Legacy Box to help families convert their aging media to digital. Here's how it works. Fill Legacy Box with your camcorder tapes, film reels, and photos. We professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drives, or the cloud, ready to watch and share.
Legacy Box is the world's largest, most trusted home movie and photo digitizer. Over 450,000 families have used Legacy Box, and we've been featured on Good Morning America, Rachel Ray, and The Today Show.
Dust off those recorded moments and preserve your family's history so it can be easily passed down for generations. Experience peace of mind and enjoy reliving the glory days.
Order your Legacy Box today. Visit legacybox.com/rush, and for a limited time, get 40% off your order. That's legacybox.com/rush for 40% off. legacybox.com/rush.
Introducing the all-new Hillary 3.0.7. More lifelike, more spontaneous, with 110% more authenticity than ever before.
Folks, you're going to have to see it to believe it. This is a complete transformational makeover, and I don't even recognize her anymore. And I'm her husband. Forget about Bernie, Biden, and all the rest. The new Hillary is so energetic, hip, and youthful. Much more human and warm, and so spontaneous. Come on out, honey. I got some voters out here who are just dying to meet you.
Shut up! I'm still practicing!
Maybe later.
Paid for by all the friends Hillary Clinton made when she was Secretary of State. And so-and-so's the treasurer and all that other crap. Oh, hell, people. Cut her some slack. She ain't all that bad. She's the only candidate you got anyhow, so suck it up and get up.
Summertime tips and fun facts from Paul, Kristen, and Dexter at Total Wine & More.
If you're topping off your burger with grilled onions and blue cheese, pair your work of art with a spicy Malbec.
Nothing beats a buttery Chardonnay with grilled corn on the cob. I'm ready to find you the perfect bottle of white for your next get-together.
Pack up the cooler for this weekend. We've got canned wine and beer ready to throw on ice.
Whether you're hosting or just bringing the wine, Total Wine & More has you covered with 8,000 wines, 3,000 spirits, and 2,500 beers at always low prices. Cheers!
For those of you who garden and are interested in lawn care, Ocean State Job Lot has an enormous selection of grass seed, fertilizer, weed and feed, turf builders, grub control, soil, peat moss, and mulch. Our Burpee flower and vegetable seeds are 50% off. We have an enormous selection of solar lighting and yard decor. For those of you that have pools, 1 gallon of liquid pool shock and 1 pound powder shock is an amazing $2.99 each. If you're ready for spring, we're ready for you at Ocean State Job Lot.
Wake up to McDonald's Breakfast Duos. Get 2 for $2 and mix and match a sausage McMuffin, sausage burrito, and any size hot drip coffee for just $2. Or get more with 2 for $4 and mix and match a sausage McMuffin with egg, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles, and any size hot drip coffee for just $4. Now that's a real breakfast. McDonald's Breakfast Duos. Make your morning tastier. Prices and participation may vary. Single item at regular price. Cannot be combined with any combo meal.
In the House that will argue the case before the Senate. Lindsey Graham was one of those. He was a House manager when Clinton was impeached. And believe me, he never wants to be part of impeachment again after that. So your theory would be that this would be worthwhile because Lindsey Graham now in the Senate could expose these House managers. That would be a very, very dangerous step to take just to expose these guys. I mean, I don't think impeachment's going to happen anyway, precisely because the Senate wouldn't convict. Pelosi knows it. It would be a lost cause.
After they made him, they broke the mold. Rush on the EIB network.
All right, all listeners out there age 75 or older, and if you own a $100,000 life insurance policy or larger, I want you to get a pen and write this information down. That's age 75 or older. Have a $100,000 or larger life policy. Did you know you can convert that life policy into cash right now? I'm not kidding. You can turn your life insurance policy into cold, hard cash. Look, the economy's been a struggle for many. People need cash, need it right away. You can get that cash for your life policy. If you're over 75, you have a $100,000 or larger life policy, write this number down, 844-WE-BUY-75. It's totally free to call. Get rid of those insurance premiums. Stop paying them. Turn that policy into cash. Pay off your credit cards. Pay those medical bills. The number again, 844-WE-BUY-75. Call 844-WEBUY-75. That's 844-WE-BUY-75. Call now. Brought to you by Life Guide.
Now, another bright idea from Barack Obama. Paygo. With Paygo, you'll be an important part of something way bigger than yourself. The federal government.
In 5 short months and $11 trillion later, it has come to my attention that we need to be fiscally responsible. We need to actually pay for our new initiatives as we go forward.
Paygo is not just another tax and spend plan by the Democrats in Congress. It's something different. It's spend, then tax.
Now, some people have questioned our ability to be responsible with your money. They say that we have no idea what we are doing just because our first stimulus plan isn't working, or because we bailed out Chrysler just to give it away to the unions. Maybe it's because we can't give away treasury bonds and mortgage interest rates are shooting through the roof. It could be because we have record unemployment that keeps going up, or that North Korea makes fun of me.
Ask your representative about Paygo before it's too late. We're here live at the U.S. Senate for the EIB network, where Al Franken is about to attempt to pull off the penultimate joke of his career. Will he do it? Let's listen in.
And I've come to a decision that for the best of my party and for the best of my family and my, I resign.
Yes, he did it. He finally did it. Al Franken made conservatives laugh with themselves as the punchline to the best joke ever in the history of the U.S. Senate.
I told you it was a joke. It's a joke. It's a funny joke. I told you. Yeah.
The answer to why Mueller did not allege or claim to have found collusion is that it's very simple. He would have had to lie. But then everything about this has been a lie, so why not just continue the lie? What was anybody going to do about it? We'll explore this when we get back.
Yeah, right. We're almost done. Let's just give this a once-over and make sure we haven't missed anything. Whoops. There, we just made a mistake.
Of Connecticut's capital with local news, weather, traffic, and WTIC, WTIC HD, and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, a radio.com station. The news starts now.
2 o'clock, Hartford temperature 67 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. We've got the clouds mixing in with the sunny breaks. We've got possibility of a shower or a thunderstorm this afternoon. There's a front just to our west that's sparking some pretty heavy showers and thunderstorms in western Pennsylvania and New York State.
Right.
Meteorologist Bob Cox will have our forecast details coming up. Legislative Democrats and Governor Lamont are proposing a sweeping overhaul of Connecticut's health care laws, including a new public option for health insurance. Insurance Committee Senate co-chair Matt Lesser says the so-called Connecticut option guarantees a 20% cut in premiums.
We're going to pay for all of this by taxing opioid manufacturers, by driving down the overall cost of health care, by restoring the individual mandate that exists in the Affordable Care Act.
There would also be a surcharge on insurance companies. Committee House co-chair Sean Scanlon was asked if the industry's on board.
I would not say that they are on board with anything. I think that we are having productive dialogues that are constructive, and I would classify them as constructive dialogues with them. This bill has come a long way.
If approved, the public option would be available for small businesses and individuals in 2022. Now, Republicans say they were left pretty much in the dark about the plan. Senate GOP leader Len Fasano.
How do you have a press conference on one of the most significant changes to health care law,
make sure that when this previous
from an insurance mandate to prescription drugs to private insurance, without ever having, at the very least, any conversation with the minority party of this building?
And the meter shows
Memorial Day, the unofficial start to the summer season. In many respects, it's getting underway as we speak. And it means plenty of Americans will be traveling for a long weekend getaway. Amy Parmenter is with the Greater Hartford AAA.
AAA is projecting that almost 43 million Americans are expected to travel over the Memorial Day holiday weekend. And across New England, that means almost 2 million people will be traveling for the Memorial Day holiday.
She adds 90% of projected travelers will be hitting the road, which includes a record number of New Englanders. To ensure safe weekend travels for motorists, AAA recommends all drivers prepare their vehicle by doing such things as checking your tire pressure, windshield wipers and fluids, batteries, etc. With less than 2 weeks to go in the legislative session, the tolls talk has overshadowed some other important issues, recreational marijuana and the budget being two of them. When it comes to the latter, State House Speaker Joe Arasimowicz and House Majority Leader Matt Ritter insist they can pass a budget before the midnight June 5th mandatory adjournment.
I would guess the documents will be available for the Majority Leader and I to look at.
Maybe over the weekend?
Yeah, the Senate President and Senate Majority Leader, and we will all literally shake hands and say, we have a deal, let's seal up the document.
Because they cannot.
Now, Arasimowicz said earlier this week the tolls issue would be taken up once the budget work is complete. That may now be a moot point because Governor Lamont this week said, and Arasimowicz concurred, that tolls likely will be taken up in special session. NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, predicting a near-normal hurricane season in 2019. The Atlantic storm season begins June 1st. 9 to 15 named storms are forecasted. Between 4 and 8 will become hurricanes, with perhaps as many as 4 major hurricanes. Meteorologist David Parkinson says, start planning now.
If you have the time now, over the next couple of weeks, create your hurricane preparedness kit. Create your plan of where to go if a storm comes, because when you're in the middle of a forecast bearing down on you, that is the last time you should be preparing for those things.
President Trump isn't the only one who wants the investigations into his administration dropped. A CBS News poll shows 53% of respondents think likewise, but 73% of Democrats want the investigations to continue. And House Speaker Pelosi is treading lightly when it comes to the drumbeat for impeachment.
What she has been saying for quite a while now, that I really do think she believes, is that impeachment is an incredibly divisive issue for the country. And there is a lot of concern that going too far, looking like there is overreach, could actually result in a backlash for Democrats.
That's correspondent Rebecca Kaplan. Today at her weekly press briefing, Pelosi reiterated what she said yesterday, that the president is engaged in a cover-up. WTIC News Time 2:04. Here's the forecast. Meteorologist Bob Cox.
During the afternoon, clouds and some breaks of sun, a southerly breeze increasing to 12 to 25 miles per hour with some higher gusts. And there will be a few showers and thunderstorms around by the late afternoon or evening, the high near 70. The threat for a shower or passing thunderstorm continues into tonight. Otherwise, we'll see varying amounts of cloudiness and lows in the 50s. A windy day coming up Friday with partly sunny sky conditions, high 70 to 75, winds probably gusting over 40 miles an hour at times. Mainly clear Friday night, low near 50. Morning sun Saturday, increasing afternoon clouds, highs in the 70s. Some showers roll through Saturday night. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
All right, right now we have, call it partly sunny skies, 69 degrees in Hartford. Checking Wall Street, the Dow is down 402 points, the NASDAQ is off 150, and the S&P 500 is down 45. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
From God. You are tuned to the most listened to radio talk show in the country, Rush Limbaugh, here behind the golden EIB microphone, the fastest 3 hours in media. And the proof of that is that two of them are already in the can. We got one more to go here. Fast at it. 800-282-2882 if you want to be on the program. The email address lrushmo@eibnet.us. Now, I remain fascinated by this question here that the caller mentioned a little over a half hour ago. Why didn't Mueller just say there had been some collusion? Everything else in this is a lie.
Like that.
Even though he knew there was no collusion from the moment he took the job for the last 18 months of it for certain. What's that? Now, there's any number of possibilities. You could say that Mueller didn't dare lie because whatever he claimed would be knocked down.
And the
but by who?
Are polarized. There's one NPN and one
Who's going to undercut it? If Mueller claims collusion,
can't be reversed, so
the media is going to be all over it. The media is going to be promoting it. They're going to be amplifying it. Trump's going to be denying it, but that would be expected.
Pins have to line up
the United States and worldwide media would be. It would be a tsunami.
Transistor in place.
It would be a worldwide tsunami news story. Trump, illegitimate. Trump and Russia colluded, says Robert Mueller. And it would be, says Robert Mueller. It wouldn't be, says Andrew Weissman, or any of the other investigators. It would be, says Robert Mueller. Robert Mueller says Trump and Russia colluded to steal 2016 election. If he had reported that, the media would be worldwide, would be dwarfing everything. And how do you push back against that?
Who's at the door?
Barr is the Attorney General, and Barr could look at the report. Well, we're not seeing collusion in here, but the cat would be out of the bag.
All right, I'll be there in a moment.
I'm thinking that it would have been easy to
heat conducting compound all over my hands.
Something prevented Mueller
Let me clean up a little bit.
I have
You got the
heard, by the
message
way,
that
I
the
should tell you
DVD's
something.
ready?
I have heard that there was dissension
Don't
in
you love
the
it?
Mueller team. That there were some early resignations because
All right, I'll be there in a moment.
some
A
of his
quiet day.
investigators thought they had proved
oh yeah, I'm glad to
collusion
get out of
and
my
wanted
chair.
the report to say so. And when either a vote was taken
Well,
or a
I think they found out that
decree
Monday's my
was given that
birthday.
there would
They're all
not
out
be
buying me birthday presents.
any collusion found in the report, that some of these people decided to resign from the Mueller team. Now,
All right,
I
Will
can't prove
tag
any of
number is
that.
what?
There's scuttlebutt. I've heard it from a couple of different sources. But that's really neither here nor there. If you stop and think of what a gigantic story it would have been, how could it have been pushed back again? Now, if Mueller lied, and this is all if Mueller had lied, he would have known he'd lied. And if it had been established, then there would have gone his reputation. Mr. Honorable and Mr. Integrity would be forever sullied if it would have ever been established that there wasn't any collusion despite his findings. I think the purpose here remains, even with this report, to get rid of Trump. You'll notice how the issuance of the report finding no collusion did not stop anything. It didn't bring the investigation to screeching halt. It just launched brand new ones because of how much the Democrats have tied up in this. So, one theory, Mueller didn't dare lie, didn't dare find collusion when there wasn't any, because it would have been knocked down and would have undercut everything he's ever said. So it was just safer to say that there were many examples of obstruction, but that none of them were prosecutable because you can't indict a sitting president. That was the safer route to go. Oh, I am sure some on that team wanted that report to say collusion, but somebody in there said, we can't, there wasn't any. So let's go at this from the obstruction angle. We can complain that we can't indict, we'll leave it up to Barr, but we're going to issue 200 and some odd pages on obstruction, and we're going to let the media run with it, plant some breadcrumbs in there, and let it just develop that Trump obstructed. But wait a minute, obstructed what? There wasn't any collusion. The first half of the report says no collusion. What was there to obstruct? He tried. He wanted me fired. He called it a witch hunt or whatever. In other words, if Mueller had said there was collusion or obstruction, he would have had to lie. And eventually the lie would be exposed. He had to be thinking this way. And then, if that had happened, his entire report would be completely untrusted. So, I'm sure that what happened here was, okay, there's no collusion, but that's not going to stop us. We're still going to get this guy. We're still going to make life miserable for this guy. And we're going to do it on the obstruction angle. And we're going to leave it wide open for all kinds of interpretation that he's obstructed this case 1,000 times minimum. And we'll let the Democrats and the media run with it. And that is exactly what has happened. They obviously concluded they would get more mileage just implying that there were all kinds of obstruction crimes. And then leave that up to Barr. Leave it up to the Attorney General. The Attorney General says no collusion. That's a wide open door for the Democrats. Well, he's Trump's hand-picked Attorney General. You can't trust Barr. And guess what? That's exactly the path this whole thing has taken. Now, Barr's the Attorney General. If Mueller had lied, if he had said that there was collusion, you don't think Barr would have uncovered it? Barr would have uncovered it before the ink on the report or whatever was dry. Think about this. If Barr wasn't the AG when the report, if it was still Sessions, would Mueller have found collusion?
They owe me like $10,000.
It's all if. And I know it's just a fun exercise here. If is for children. Ifs don't happen. But it still is a fascinating thing to me, only because all of this has been a lie. So why all of a sudden at the very end of this start relying on the truth? And why delay for a minimum 18 months the revelation of the truth? The bottom line, the effort here is the eternal, lasting damage to Donald Trump. There was never any intention that this report clear or exonerate or unmuddy the waters. And you see, this report has provided the fuel for the Democrats to keep this going and to claim that they want to talk to him. Why doesn't Mueller want to testify? That's another thing. Mueller does not want to testify. And the drive-bys and the Democrats, they're so let down, they're disappointed. They can't believe it because they think they're all on Mueller's team. They think they're asking the coach to come up and give them a pep talk. They want Mueller to come testify. Barr has mischaracterized what Mueller said. We'll get Mueller up here to testify. Mueller will tell us there was conclusion. Mueller will tell us what we want to hear. Mueller doesn't want to go talk to him. Why not?
I'll let you know.
Well, Rush, he's getting old. He doesn't do well in these settings. Oh, really? Haven't heard that. And another thing, Rush, he's a recluse now. He doesn't want to.
Okay. Rarity today. Not too many.
But there's some reason why he doesn't want to go. And the Democrats are so disappointed. And the media is so disappointed about this.
Back to the fun.
But then, again, you stop and realize nothing about any of this has been factual. None of it has been truthful. There was never any collusion except between Hillary Clinton and the Russians. This thing is still so outrageous to me.
All right. What were we doing? So one of the things I like to do is I put lock
take
washers,
some time again to think about this. I get livid to the point I can't describe it.
Transfer
And
the
the
high
fact that
current
this is still going on, and the Democrats are not claiming Trump is so mentally damaged,
and in the long term,
the family to intervene.
Reduces or totally
he needs to be sent off to an asylum somewhere. The president is losing control, and so when it's the Democrats, clearly.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes, warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank, where you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes. And you'll always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Hi, this is Joel Johnson from the program Money Wisdom. Have you ever wondered if you're invested properly? Whether you're in retirement or you're getting ready to retire. Listen to Money Wisdom, 8:30 Saturday morning right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
86 burglars were asked how they broke into homes, and they all said they knocked on the door first. That's why you need Blink XT2 cameras. They detect motion, so you'll get an alert and you can see and talk to who's there. Tell the delivery guy where to leave the package or just say hi when the kids get home. Blink XT2 cameras start under $100, so thanks to Blink, home security just got easier.
Blink cameras are available on Amazon and Best Buy, or visit blinkprotect.com/alert. blinkprotect.com/alert.
Got to. I have to. So I'm a good host. So I turn it on. And the two Democrats that we saw were Tulsi Gabbard
from
Hawaii,
grabbing onto the threads,
who basically had one reason for running for president. She wants to serve. In fact, we played a drinking game. Every time she mentioned serving, service.
And there's the screw. That's not
so
good.
We were well lubricated by the time Mayor Pete's turn
is
came.
go to the hardware store. Well, maybe
So here comes Mayor Pete, and I vaguely was familiar with the guy, but I didn't know much about him other than the fact that he was the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, and he's young, and he's gay, and he has a husband, and he likes to kiss the husband in front of cameras. And I said, okay, well, listen, this could be good. So we're watching this.
From engaging.
Well, let me just play for you what I said the next day. The following program after watching this is March 12th on this program. Soundbite number 25. Sorry, I forgot to tell the engineer where I'm going to. Soundbite 25.
Keep a sharp eye out for Mayor Pete. Keep an eye on this guy. He's going to make mincemeat of all the rest of these people. When his time comes, to face these people in debate. If he gets that far, keep an eye on Mayor Pete of South Bend. It's all I'm going to say. This guy was articulate for what he believes. He was personable. He had an answer for everything. There was no, and you know, I like that, and there was no radicalism. Some things that he believes about Trump are typically crazy, but keep an eye out for Mayor Pete. He's 37. Keep an eye out for Mayor Pete.
And I went on to add that this guy is excellent at masking his radicalism, is almost as good as Obama. And I say this back on March 12th, and now look. And it energized. I have never been credited for this. Don't misunderstand. Nobody has acknowledged this. It's just one of these things I know. If I hadn't called people's attention to Mayor Pete, I mean, he would eventually been noticed. Don't misunderstand. Well, wait, what do you mean it was a political story? You got? Oh, that's right, Politico. Politico, yeah, that's right. Politico did do a story acknowledging that I was one of the first to call attention to Mayor Pete. So some of this may be not a fault, but it may be because of me. All right, it's my fault. So anyway, let's now go to Mayor Pete. This is on the Fox News Channel. It's last Sunday night before the Game of Thrones finale. Do you know how many people would not have agreed to appear precisely because it was right before the Game of Thrones finale? But Mayor Pete was fearless. Game of Thrones, Game of Schmones, doesn't matter to him. If he's got a chance to be on Fox News, he's going to take it. Chris Matthews was the moderator. Chris Wallace was the moderator. And Mayor Pete got a standing O from the Fox News crowd. It shocked Chris Wallace. But Chris Wallace should not have been shocked. If he had listened and heard my first analysis of Mayor Pete, then none of this would have surprised him. Here is the first bite we have from him.
If it's hard to figure out what's going on right now, it's because we are living on one of those blank pages in between chapters in American history. And what comes next could be ugly or it could be amazing. And I believe running for office is an act of hope. And so is voting for somebody and supporting somebody and volunteering for somebody. I hope you'll join me in making sure that next era is better than any that we've had so far.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you. Wow, a standing ovation.
Wallace was a standing ovation. Wasn't expecting this, but it happened. So that's just the one bite. That was near the end of the town hall. It's an indication of how smooth Mayor Pete here is. I mean, it's hard to figure out what's going on.
So let's.
It's like we're living on one of those blank pages in between chapters in American history. What blank page?
Then we do the other board.
Show me a blank page in American history.
That's what it looks like we built.
Where is one?
Before we took it apart, so it's got all this messy.
There's no blank page. He's talking about textbooks where you might end a chapter with a blank page for the next. It's very, very, very clear. It comes across as erudite.
As a catastrophic
really the kind of thing that appeals to millennials. What comes next could be ugly or it could be amazing. Well, that's true anytime you open a door. Not just in American history, anytime you go to the bathroom, anytime you go to the movies, doesn't matter what you do, that's the case. But one more bite before, nope, let's take the break. We're up against it on time, but I have Mayor Pete being reacted to by Brit Hume when we come back, so don't go away.
People everywhere want the American dream. So should gaining American citizenship be simple or hard? Rush Limbaugh nails the answer in his latest bonus report. Why becoming an American citizen should not be easy. Get it free with a new subscription to the Limbaugh Letter at rushlimbaugh.com. You're listening to the Network.
Now, we're actually not finished with that board.
So you sit
because
down
we now
and
have
you do your budget.
Reconnect
you look at all your monthly costs, your bills, your income, and it seems like there's never quite enough.
They have to be.
You know what would help? what would really help.
Soldered back in
Finding
place.
$500 a month to help balance things out. And that is the typical savings, $500 a month for a family when you switch to Medi-Share for your health care. Medi-Share is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry, and it works. No wonder more than 400,000 people are doing this now. And look, whether you're single or married or you have kids, this can make sitting down to do a monthly budget a lot more fun. Just think what you can do with $500 a month. It can cover a car payment or pay back loans or whatever. Join Medi-Share and go out to dinner to celebrate. Find out more. The Medi-Share people are so easy to talk to. They can answer any questions. They're super friendly. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
A little bit of insulation.
My fellow Americans, I think I can speak for all of Hillary's many fans when I say that we are disappointed in Donna Brazile. Let's face it, if she had been working at the DNC a few years ago, she would have been bringing us coffee, not running the place. Yes, she is a strong black woman, but you can't let her view of the facts get in the way of Hillary becoming the first woman president ever. And while a Democratic staffer was gunned down late at night in a supposed botched robbery attempt during the campaign, that only serves to let us know that we should all be more careful when we are all alone on the outside looking in. I hope Donna can take this message to heart and give Hillary the benefit of the doubt that she ran an honest campaign and won the nomination fair and square. And I hope for her sake she will support us as we move forward to 2020. Thank you.
You know I don't like to talk about myself, folks, but I have to here because this is about me. It's about the Limbaugh letter. The Limbaugh letter has raised and enlightened a generation of high-information voters. Exclusive interviews, charts, graphs, stellar analysis. It's pure substance with humor. We take on the left in print. On the airwaves, internet, through the mail, I have the left surrounded. Get the Limbaugh letter in print or on your electronic devices at rushlimbaugh.com today.
Have you made the mistake of becoming a biological parent? Consider this. A recent scientific study has shown adoptive parents are far superior. They spend more money on their children.
Look at my new iPod. Cool. Did you get it for your birthday? No, I'm adopted. Oh.
They spend more time with their children.
Let's stay another month at Disney World.
All right.
And love them more than biological parents.
Dad, can I?
No.
Can we?
Shut up.
Don't ruin your child's life. Give them away to somebody else and adopt a family of your own.
It's data from the previous repair is
Okay, let's quickly hit Brett Hume here analyzing Mayor Pete. See if it sounds, familiar.
Pete Buttigieg is the most impressive, by far, candidate in terms of just raw political talent in the Democratic field, and he may be the most impressive candidate I've seen since the emergence of Barack Obama.
Well, I tell you.
He is as fluid as he can be.
Yeah.
He seems to have something to say about nearly every issue.
Right.
He seems comfortable on the big stage, articulate, even humorous. He stakes out positions that are, I think, well outside the mainstream on a number of issues.
Okay, that's enough because I'm squeezed for time. I want to move on. I want to show you an example here of Mayor Pete's smoothness and how he masks complete radical beliefs. Here is Mayor Pete talking about the killing of a baby after it's born and making it sound completely reasonable and acceptable.
Let's put ourselves in the shoes of a woman in that situation. We're talking about women who have perhaps chosen a name, women who have purchased a crib, families that then get the most devastating medical news of their lifetime, something about the health or the life of the mother that forces them to make an impossible, unthinkable choice. And the bottom line is, as horrible as that choice is, that woman, that family may seek spiritual guidance, they may seek medical guidance. That decision's not going to be made any better, medically or morally, because the government is dictating how that decision should be made.
Now, the question was, you're saying that you would be okay with a woman well into the third trimester deciding to abort her pregnancy. It's not hypothetical. 6,000 women a year get abortions in the third trimester. That answer, basically, yep, I'm perfectly fine with it. But notice how he masks and covers the genuine radical belief with all of these flowery, sympathetic, very, very heart-tugging circumstances that he doesn't know are present, just automatically attaches them. The bottom line is to convey to Democrat voters, particularly women, I don't have any problem with abortion anytime, anywhere. This is how he chooses to say it. This is a radical, radical belief, but that didn't sound radical in the slightest. That's why this guy is a quintessential politician, and one of the
And now, a WTIC news update.
Good afternoon, it's 2:30. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Coalition of state Democrats, including Governor Lamont, and legislative leaders say they've reached consensus on a major bill that could lead to a public health insurance option here by 2022, called the Connecticut Option. Proponents say the yet-to-be-designed plan would allow individuals and businesses to buy a new high-quality, high-value health plan that could save them up to 20% in insurance premiums. Republicans say they were left completely out of the loop in this. The bill also aims to lower drug costs and reduce insurance expenses for low and middle-income consumers, among other things. Millions expected to hit the road ahead of the long Memorial Day weekend, many doing that just now. AAA in Hartford advising motorists to make sure your vehicle is in working order to prevent any problems during your trip. Secretary of State Pompeo says President Trump is evaluating the force posture in the Middle East every day. Pompeo telling Fox the U.S. is evaluating the risks to make sure they have it right. Amid the tensions with Iran, the president is expected to receive plans from the Pentagon for as many as 10,000 additional troops in the region, plus more Patriot missile batteries and ships, along with increased monitoring efforts. House Speaker Pelosi suggesting an intervention with the president after he vowed not to work with Congress unless Democrats stop investigating him in the aftermath of the Russia report. Pelosi described a pattern of what she called stunts by Trump to change the subject from unflattering news about him. On Wednesday, the president left a meeting with Democrats that had been set up to talk about how to pay for a $2 trillion infrastructure package. WTIC News Time is 2:32. And from the WTIC 24-hour traffic network, we have volume delays to report in the Hartford area. Eastbound Interstate 84 now between exits 46 and 51. Northbound side of Interstate 91 slows between 28 and 29. Eastbound 84 in Waterbury. We have road work, and that's resulting in an eastbound delay between exits 17 and 25A, with some various lanes closed there. Down along the shoreline, Milford along the 95 corridor, slow traffic reported on the Connecticut Turnpike between exits 36 and 41. Meteorologist Bob Cox has the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
During the afternoon, we'll see clouds mixing with some breaks of sun in parts of the area, and the increasing threat for a shower or thunderstorm by the late afternoon or evening. Highs pushing up to about 70 with an increasing southerly breeze. And there will be a shower or thunderstorm or two around tonight as well, otherwise varying amounts of cloudiness, lows holding in the 50s. Friday, clouds mixed with some sun and quite windy, high 70 to 75. Northwesterlies at 15 to 30 miles an hour tomorrow, gusting over 40 miles per hour at times. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
All right, we have 70 degrees right now under partly sunny skies in Hartford. Checking Wall Street, the Dow's down 411 points, the NASDAQ off 154, and the S&P 500 is down 46. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Each year, more than 3 million athletes suffer a sports-related brain injury known as concussion. Sometimes the effects can be serious, especially if they return to play too soon before it's safe. According to the American Academy of Neurology, any athlete who is suspected of having a concussion should be removed from play until evaluated by a doctor who has training in sports concussion. This is for all athletes and all levels. Play it safe. Protect your brain from concussion. A message from the American Academy of Neurology. Learn more at AAN.com.
The other output stage, it's not just the board. Heat sink, the output transistor,
Hi, welcome back. El Rushmo having more fun than a human being should be allowed to have, and that's because I am doing what I was born to do. Oh, you know what?
And I am doing.
I've often said I'm doing what I'm born to do, and that's why
stock transistors over
I don't
here.
feel like I'm at work.
Has me feeling.
And I've always subscribed to the theory that if you are fortunate enough in life to do what you love, then you're not really going to feel like you're at work. It's not drudgery. Well, Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, delivered a commencement speech at Tulane University this past weekend. And he was noted for saying a controversial thing. He said, he's a baby boomer, he's around 60. He said, "My generation has failed you." And he was talking about climate change. Yeah, I just cringe, because I don't know how somebody so smart, Tim Cook has got to be smart, can be so gullible on this. I mean, it's something that cannot scientifically be proven, and it hasn't been. It's only because of computer models.
It's doing is deoxidating the bias control.
You've heard me go back and forth about that.
This
but
is
I know that Al
oxidized
Gore is a member of the Apple board, and Al Gore has become a gazillionaire promoting this hoax. And so that may be why. And it could well be that Cook knows his audience. You know, Apple millennials and so forth, they're all scared to death of climate change. If the Apple people think there's climate change, I want Apple. Who knows? It could be marketing. But I think he really means it. But he also said something else in his commencement speech. He said to the assembled multitudes graduating from Tulane that this idea that if you find something to do in life that you love, that you'll never work a day in your life, that is a crock, he said. It is hard. Whether you love it or not, doing good work is hard, and it's not a vacation. I'm paraphrasing here. And, you know, I've always believed in the theory that if you really end up loving what you do, that it's not the same thing as getting up and hating your job. And if you love it, it's not work. If you're willing to do it all the time, it isn't work. It's something you love. And he was debunking that. He was telling the assembled multitudes graduating from Tulane, that is a
in the
crock.
exact same order we did the previous.
And I've been thinking about it. I'm undecided on it as I'm thinking about it. It's not a big deal, but it's something that I have always believed because I've lived it. No, I do what I love. I'm considered myself to be fortunate as heck that the thing I love most I'm actually able to do more than anything else. I can't imagine having to work at a job I don't like, and many people do. And if there's one thing I could change for people, it would be that. But it's not denying that it's hard. It takes commitment. But, you know, the drive to be the best or to pursue excellence is directly linked to the fact that you love what you're doing and that you don't want to be half-baked at it or whatever. But I don't think it's bad. That's not a mistake to tell people that success is hard work. It's not just a matter of liking what you do. That's true.
Mating surfaces.
Now,
and we put new heatsink compound on.
How close have some of you come, do you know, to having your online identity stolen? Are you aware? Some of you are, some of you aren't. Now, the problem in answering that question accurately is that you'll likely never know the precise moment your identity was stolen by a cyber bad guy. It's the one crime that happens, and you don't know the precise moment it happens. You're a member of a big database. You're a customer of some outfit. They've got all of your data on file.
Discount travel sites say they have the best prices, but Hilton.com has the price match guarantee. Look me in the eye. If you find a better rate, they match it and take 25% off. Yeah, well, this is radio, so just stare at the radio. Hilton.com has the best prices. Pinky swear. Or, radio swear. Plus, you can choose your exact room and get free Wi-Fi. Cross my heart, stick a needle in my radio. Expect better. Expect Hilton.
Must be a Hilton Honors member. Applicable terms and conditions at Hilton.com. Pinky swear.
For those of you who garden and are interested in lawn care, Ocean State Job Lot has an enormous selection of grass seed, fertilizer, weed and feed, turf builders, grub control, soil, peat moss, and mulch. Our Burpee flower and vegetable seeds are 50% off. We have an enormous selection of solar lighting and yard decor. For those of you that have pools, 1 gallon of liquid pool shock and 1 pound powder shock is an amazing $2.99 each. If you're ready for spring, we're ready for you at Ocean State Job Lot.
Summertime tips and fun facts from Paul, Kristen, and Dexter at Total Wine & More.
If you're topping off your burger with grilled onions and blue cheese, pair your work of art with a spicy Malbec.
Nothing beats a buttery Chardonnay with grilled corn on the cob. I'm ready to find you the perfect bottle of white for your next get-together.
Pack up the cooler for this weekend. We've got canned wine and beer ready to throw on ice.
Whether you're hosting or just bringing the wine, Total Wine & More has you covered with 8,000 wines, 3,000 spirits, and 2,500 beers at always low prices. Cheers!
Happens is if there's a gigantic spike, not even gigantic, just a significant spike in that established monthly online behavior, that's when everybody gets going into gear and tracking down what's happening. And you'll get an alert from LifeLock asking you if you had spent X amount of money at some place that would explain the spike. And if it's you, you tell them so, and everybody goes away, no problem. If it isn't you, that's how you find out. Long before it's ever been announced, long before anybody ever admits that their database was hacked. And LifeLock then immediately starts working to shut this down. They've got a restoration team that works with you personally. They're U.S.-based. They don't stop until whatever happens gets fixed. Now, keep in mind that no one company can prevent all identity theft, but there's nobody in LifeLock's league, folks. Nobody does what they do anywhere near as well as they do it or as good. $10 a month is where prices start. LifeLock.com or 800-440-4833. Use my name when you sign up. 10% off the plan you choose. LifeLock.com or 800-440-4833. Okay, Bolingbrook, Illinois. This is Kurt. Hey, Kurt, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. Good to talk to you. I have a question.
Yeah.
Pelosi started talking yesterday about Trump having a temper tantrum in the media. No one else has said anything. Who else was there besides those two? Because no one else seems to be backing her up.
Be just like before.
The media is.
It's
that doesn't count.
Chuck U. Schumer was also in the meeting, and I think Chuck U. has alluded to it. But you're making a good point. It's Pelosi's word, and Trump, by the way, goes out and has that 12-minute little speech or meeting with the media in the Rose Garden, and he doesn't appear to be agitated. He doesn't appear to be mad or angry or having a temper tantrum like Pelosi said. Pelosi's making this all up, and well, especially with this call for the family to do an intervention, that the president, we need to pray for the president's out of control. All of this is related to Trump refusing to work with them on infrastructure as long as they're investigating him. You have anything else you want to say? I don't want to cut you short.
I'm sorry. I was listening, and I agree, but it just seems weird that she's the only one who's saying it. I imagine that there were more people on both sides that were in there besides Chuck and Nancy.
Well,
or was it just the three of them?
Let me check. Let me check something and keep your radio on here. Let me find audio soundbite number 5. I just need to look at the transcripts. Kellyanne Conway was there and addressed this, but I don't know if she addressed that. Now, wouldn't you know, the one I'm looking for is the last one I'm going to find. And I'm not going to find it, period, does it look like. What's the time? Is Kellyanne Conway number 5? Mike, do you have a... Play it. Let's see if she... Because I think she's addressing some of it. Here it is. Here it is. I did the last one. I mean, just a quick... Yep, this is exactly what I was looking for. Kellyanne Conway on Fox this morning being asked about whether or not Trump lost his mind.
He never raised his voice a single time, was very polite, and said you can't have two tracks. You can't say that I'm engaged in a cover-up. You can't want to impeach and investigate and then pretend you want to legislate. So get back to me when you're done playing these games, and I'll be ready. Then Speaker Pelosi went on and launched into some odd, self-curated history of infrastructure in our country. She talked about Thomas Jefferson, then she got to Teddy Roosevelt. And so when she was finished, I said, respectfully, Madam Speaker, would you like to address some of the specifics the president talked about? And she said, I talk to the president, I don't talk to staff. Because let's face it, she's the sixth most rich member of Congress. She treats everybody like they're her staff. She treats me like I'm either her maid or her driver or her pilot or her makeup artist, and I'm not. And I said to her, how very pro-woman of you.
Oh, don't you just love that? Kellyanne, if you work for China, you might have a greater inroad to Pelosi and Feinstein than if you work for Trump. Well, Feinstein had a driver on her staff as a Chi-Com spy, so like 20 years. So yeah, Pelosi's the only one saying it. But Pelosi knows something. You ever ask her, what must this be like? Pelosi knows that she can go before the cameras and microphones and say anything she wants about Donald Trump, and the media will amplify it and back it up. They won't question her. They won't put her on the spot. And if it rarely does happen, you want to see her react. She just launches back at them. So she can characterize Trump however she wants. He's out of control, he had a temper tantrum, and they'll have 5 different panels on that throughout the rest of the day on CNN. Is the president losing his mind? Does the family need to conduct an intervention? And to get a psychiatrist in there to explain why it's valid. Media has become totally complicit in whatever the Democrat agenda is. Let me take a brief time out. We'll come back and continue after this.
Resistance is futile. Rush on the EIB network.
Folks, you may as well be living in a glass house. At least you are if you're using Wi-Fi without Norton VPN. Because even if the Wi-Fi you're using is password protected, your every move could be exposed to cyber criminals and companies that'll track and sell your information. You're exposed with no window coverings to keep your online activity private. But now there's a way to pull down the blinds on cybercrime. It's Norton Secure VPN, brought to you by Norton, the cybersecurity experts. Norton Secure VPN is an easy-to-use virtual private network. It protects your online privacy whether you're connected at home or the coffee shop. With Norton Secure VPN, your internet activity is totally encrypted. To get Norton Secure VPN, go to norton.com/VPN, starting at $3.33 a month with an annual subscription. That's norton.com/VPN. Terms apply.
Drip, drip, drip. Hear that? It's your business's online reviews. Not exactly the gush of praise you hoped for when you got set up on that review site, is it? But why? Your customers love you. They say it daily, just not online. And that's too bad, because your word may be your bond, but your customers' words, well, they're your best sales tool. Podium knows your reviews make the difference between very interested and run for the hills. They built the best online review platform out there, so you can get the stellar rating you know you deserve. Businesses see an average 6% boost in revenue from reviews thanks to Podium. More than friendly reminders, Podium sends customers straight to the review sites you care about most, with built-in analytics to monitor progress toward your goals. So stop waiting for customers to drip in and start using Podium to answer customer questions, schedule appointments, and open up the floodgates of online reviews. Just visit podium.com/USA to save 10% when you sign up. That's podium.com/USA to get started and save 10%. Podium. Become the obvious choice online.
When I was 14, I had our band name tattooed on my forehead, but I didn't know how to spell maroon. I felt like such an outcast until the Liberty Tattoo Removal Program.
People with tattoos often find themselves being unfairly stereotyped, making it difficult to find employment or to move up in life. But why pay for costly tattoo removal when you can participate in the Liberty Tattoo Removal Program?
Lisa and I were really in love. You know, the forever kind. So I had her name tattooed on my behind. Then there was